Shotgun with Charlie.
Riding shotgun refers to the practice of sitting next to the driver in a moving vehicle. The term riding shotgun came around after the time of the stagecoach, when somebody used to sit next to the driver holding a shotgun, in case they ran into bandits. My name is Charlie Cook, and I drive a lot. I like to talk to people while I'm driving, so I interview people in my car while I'm driving. Welcome to Riding Shotgun with Charlie. Hey, welcome to this episode of Riding Shotgun with Charlie. We're so glad that you're here watching the show, and thank you for watching the show. If you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, please make sure that you do. If you'd like to help support the show, you can get some patches and stickers at the ridingshotgunwithcharlie.com store. And if you'd like to buy some t-shirts, you can get t-shirts there as well. And actually, if you get yourself wearing, get a t-shirt, get a picture wearing it, and social media it to me, I will send you a couple of these for free. So please do that. Thanks for watching the show. We'll talk to you soon. All right, welcome to this episode of Riding Shotgun with Charlie. Today we are in Queenstown, Maryland.
Correct.
Did I say that right?
You did.
All right, and where are we? At the Point?
We are at the Point at Pintail.
The Point at Pintail, which is a sporting clays club. And I have with me Coach Anne Mauro from USA Shooting from the University of Maryland Sporting Clays Club?
Sporting Clays team.
Sporting Clays team.
Clay target team, because we shoot all the...
Are they the assault clays? Is that what they are?
Clays.
Yeah, the assault clays, that's why we shoot them?
That's, well, no.
They're just flying clays.
Just flying clays. And we shoot all the disciplines, American and international.
Awesome.
Yes.
Very cool.
Yes.
All right, before we get going, we are going to apply some Lead Slingers hand sanitizer. You can find them at leadslingers.com. You need to cup your two hands togetger because this is wicked watery.
Oh, it is.
It's wicked watery.
More so than any of them out there. Wow.
It is. Well, they do.
But that makes it nice. I like that.
I am, honestly, I am an anti-Purell.
Okay.
I do think one of the winners of the pandemic here is Big Purell, and as well as Big Plexi. but I like the Lead Slingers because it's liquid rather than a gel. But speaking of the...
Doesn't have that sticky after.
It doesn't, which is what I really appreciate. Lead Slingers does make some whiskey and rye and all sorts of adult libations. So they're good stuff.
Good.
All right, let's get on it. Let's talk about you. We've had a lot of pre-show prep, which is a lot of fun.
It has been fun. We've learned a lot about each other. We've had a good conversation.
Probably a little bit too much. I think share a little too overshare, I think is what they call that.
It's been good talk.
Anyway, this has been
a lot of fun.
What I like about my gig is when I started it, I wanted to expand my circle of friends, and it's all I've been doing for the last 5 years. Is making more friends to make more friends to make more friends and expand your circle of friends. And this is completely ridiculous. I absolutely love it when I go someplace and someone comes up and they're like, oh, hey, Charlie, how you doing? Good to see you. Like, I appreciate it when people I've had on the show come up and say hi. Or if I go someplace and I went to go see somebody at a booth at SHOT Show this year, and they had, somebody that leads one of the big groups, and he had all of his people in front of him, and he saw me, he's like, hey, Charlie, how you doing? Come on back. Let's get a picture and let's talk. And everyone else is like, who is this guy? And I'm like, I know the real cool, like, I know the movers and shakers. You don't know who I am, but the cool people do, and that's what counts.
There you go.
Completely ridiculous. Anyway.
So we did not meet at SHOT Show.
We did not meet at SHOT Show, but we were connected.
Yes, we were.
At SHOT Show by Cheryl Todd.
Amazing lady.
Yes, from Gun. You know her show, right?
Yes.
Gun Freedom Radio.
Absolutely.
So thank you to Cheryl for connecting the two of us together.
Huge shout out to her.
Yeah. If you haven't subscribed to the Gun Freedom Radio podcast. You need to. We're gonna take a left. We're gonna. I love this. She says. She points to the left and says we're turning right. So I've been an instrumental music teacher for a long time. When kids when you say use your right hand and they use their left, I say no, use your real right hand. I don't go to other one, because then they'll inevitably say, I only have one left hand, or I only have one right hand. I'm like, that's the one I want you to use. So use your right hand, use your real right hand. So done. All right, let's talk. So how did you? You are a. First of all, I thought this was interesting that I saw that you design firearms, which I thought was kind of interesting. I'm like, she doesn't really look like somebody that's doing 3D printing and has a lot of CAD experience. But you said you got into this because once you started shooting, you wanted something that fit you.
Yes, it was a struggle right from the start.
Yeah.
Where we just left the point at Pintail is where I learned to shoot shotgun. And I had an amazing instructor there that kept me safe, but also made it fun as I was learning.
Perfect.
And from there, Pintail was a beautiful spot to learn. Still love to come shoot at Pintail. With my University of Maryland team, we hold the Terrapin Classic there yearly now, which is just a beautiful location here on the eastern shore of Maryland. And so in that learning process, I would rent a shotgun from the range, and they were way too long for me. Yep. Anything out of the box, because I like to tell people I stand 5'2", but I'm rounding up to say I stand 5'2", and it is what it is. So obviously, out of the box gun is not going to fit me. They're designed to fit a standard size man.
There's a little bit of, like, you don't want the youth model either.
No, and especially being a lady, as much as we all would certainly love our youth back, it's amazing how when you're young you can't wait to be a grown-up, and then once you get to a certain point you're like, I really wish I was young again.
Right. But I'm at that point where all those times when I fought taking a nap, I wish I had those opportunities.
That's right now.
Like, what do you really enjoy? I really enjoy taking a nap.
Absolutely. So when we get up here to the light, we're going to make a left.
All right. So you didn't grow up hunting or shooting? Like, shooting wasn't a thing when you were a kid?
No, I actually grew up in Maine, and all the relatives, they all hunted, they all shot and everything, but I never did, and it wasn't from a matter of not wanting to. It was just something I just never.
Interested.
You are having the most awesome break to be able to get across here right now, because usually it's a little tricky.
All of the.
This was. It's like we timed this perfect.
Everything is coming up, Charlie.
There we go. I like that.
All right. So, how did you start shooting? Like, what was the first thing that said?
So it was my my husband who I grew up shooting pistols, but never shotgun. And my husband wanted me to. I thought I'd enjoy shooting sporting clays, and I said, "Well, that would be great, but you're not going to teach me." And I wanted to stay married, so absolutely.
Exactly. Right.
And we kind of all know how that goes when a spouse steps in and kind of wants to.
All of the frustration that you have at the household ends up going to the range, or whatever else it is that you might be teaching your spouse how to do. All of that stuff comes out. You can't tell me what to do, like back in this and this and this and all the.
That's right. And I have the wonderful opportunity now to teach all over the country, and a lot of women, and at times the husbands will want to step right in and be right there, and I know best, and I'm going to tell them and everything, and I have no problem putting the hand right up. They get to see my hand right in their face, and it's like, you need to back off and step away, and I got this, and then the ladies then love it, and then they then have a new shooting partner, and they love it. So it makes everybody's happy, and that's what it's all about. But so in the frustration of learning and shooting, shot bare wood the first 9 months I was learning to shoot. When I'd get the range gun, I'd rent it for the day, and I would take the butt pad off, so it was shorter to fit me. Okay,
I was wondering about that.
Yes.
Why would you take the butt pad off? So if it's supposed to protect you a little bit.
But I'm a tough bird, but I was black and blue and beat up, and
oh my gosh.
I would actually crack open ice packs, those little instant ice packs.
Oh yeah.
And I would put them down my sleeves. My arm hurt so bad, and I was black and blue all week. I'd recover and could not wait till I got back the next weekend to come back out and shoot again. And first time, it was a left to right crossing target, and I just sat there and I held the gun up and the target came flying, and I just stood there and I was like, it was like a flying saucer going through the sky. And I was like, and they're like, well, you have to swing the gun, and I was like, I'm supposed to shoot that?
Right.
And,
how am I supposed to shoot that? It's moving.
That's it. And it's been a total blast, literally and figuratively, learning how to shoot. And it's so in my progression with shooting, the range sold those guns, and I bought one. And my shooting instructor at the time, Ben Wise, like I said, a great individual, because it was he kept me safe and made it fun. Even though I was black and blue, and you know, my arms hurt so bad.
Yeah.
And I learned how to hold the weight of a gun, and today I hold a gun all day long, and I don't think twice about it. And built that arm strength up, because as women we don't have that upper arm strength. So
right.
That was a challenge, and you know, he cut it down for me because it still needed to be cut even shorter, put a Jones adjuster plate on it, and as I was learning, he kept making fine-tune adjustments. And once we finally kind of had it right where we wanted it, I entered a tournament and did really well in that. And from there, the next week, I was on a plane to Cole Gunsmithing up in Maine, and had picked out some beautiful wood and had some real nice custom stocks on 391s, Beretta 391s. That were my beautiful little guns that I still have those guns to this day.
Yeah.
I've been offered an awful lot of money for them, but I will not part with them. And I've had a true, really amazing time within the shotgunning world. And with that, company knew of me. Caesar Guarini was looking to design something for women, but really didn't know really kind of where to start. And the
right. The whole pink it and shrink it wasn't
that we were all definitely against that. Yeah. And because that's not really what women want. And making it pink, and just even though they would take the gun, and not they, where I was, but in general, if they would paint a gun pink or just make the stock a little shorter, it still never would fit women.
Sure.
So with Caesar Guarini, I sat down with them and had talks with the president of the company, and I said, you know, hold on, I want to show you my Berettas I had designed out. And I took those over, and we continued talking, and then one thing led to another, go on, and I went on to design and help create the siren shotguns for women.
Wow.
And that was, you know, really a blast, because there were a lot of different models that we designed out for women, and had the opportunity to travel the country all over, teach women. You really learn in the moment of designing firearms out, how they truly fit people, and what the needs are. And obviously you can't design, we're not going to design a firearm that's fit me at my size. We need something in the middle of the road that we can cut down a little bit for someone more my size. Yep. But we'll still, out of the box, I can still shoot it. And then someone a little on the taller side, it would fit them too, but we could add onto the back if need be, the thicker butt pad or spacers. So it was really, really, you know, a great time. And then I went on to design for Blaser and created their F16 Intuition line of shotguns and their R8 rifle Intuition for ladies, again with all dimensions to fit women. And have had the opportunity to teach all over the country, run amazing events all over the country. I created a ladies clinic for the National Sporting Clays Association at Nationals one year. I said I'd really like to teach a clinic for ladies, because a lot of the ladies that were out there, we have a lot of amazing ladies that love to shoot the event, and are tremendous shooters, and very, very, you know, talented. And but there were a lot of other women that would just come, and they kind of just sat on the back of the golf cart and would either keep score or read a book or, you know, and I said, no, they really kind of need to get out here and see what this is all about, and be part of it. So I asked if I could create a clinic, and they said, well, you can, but we don't think anybody's going to show up. I said, no, they will. They said, we don't think anybody's going to show up. I said, oh, they will. And the first year I did a morning clinic with a little classroom session and then a outdoor on the range session, and sold out the first year.
Wow, that's amazing.
Did it the next year. I said, I want to add the afternoon. They said, okay. So we had the clinic in the morning, lunch in the afternoon, then after the lunch, then we did a whole afternoon session. So then from there, I was telling them that, this is the national tournament out here, and ladies said, well, we would love something for us. I said, you'll have it next year. Created a 50-bird ladies open tournament that takes place during nationals.
Wow.
And the first year it was held kind of on the practice course for people, that were going out getting ready to shoot their main event or other, events taking place during nationals. And a lot of the shooters were not real happy that here there were these women now all of a sudden, and they said, Anne, women are not going to sign up for this. And the first year we had over 100 women in the first shoot, which was amazing. And from there, every year it's grown to now on virgin ground at the National Shooting Complex in San Antonio, Texas.
Wow.
I have a course that's been cut. Neil Chadwick, a tremendous course setter, has gone in and has done the course, and it's amazing. The fellows who set up the targets and everything, they make it just right for these ladies who are just really starting out. So they have a fun. We have absolutely tremendous sponsors for that. So we do have medals for placing within the classes, but the really big prizes are just for participating. And we have everything from Austin Gun Club offers a hunt to the ammunition from B&P and Ranger shotgun glasses and Tachyon gun cam and different other vendors that are just tremendous. US Ultimate Shooting Supplies does the beautiful Castellani vest package. Wow. And so we really have really great sponsors with that, which is tremendous. And so with the clinic, it grew to the point where we used to just be on a little, like I said, practice course, and even the Ladies Open was on a practice course and now has its own part of the range with its own course.
That is awesome.
One year they said, we're going to give you a 5-stand for the clinic. And when I went over, I was like, oh, that's not going to work, because I run, multiple stations at one time. So Michael Hampton, the director of NSSA and NSCA, said, how about if I put you in the stadium? And it's everyone's goal to shoot in the stadium. That's where all the big dogs get to shoot.
Wow.
That's where all the big shoot-offs are.
Oh my gosh, that's
I was
cool.
like, wow, we're starting at the top. This is pretty cool.
We're starting at the top.
It's like these
That's
ladies
amazing.
who are just starting, the end goal is to be in the stadium.
Right,
and we're starting them right there. So this is really awesome. So
the bad thing about that is it's all downhill from there.
Oh well,
you know what I mean?
For us it's been uphill. So it's been awesome. And so with that, I said, okay, give me 5 minutes. I need to draw out how I want this stadium set up, and drew out exactly how I wanted the station set up with just the way I wanted targets, so I could run 5 cages going at once. And I then brought in Diva Wow. I've known Judy Rhodes for years. She was the first group I went out to, as a large group, to take shotguns out to work with. And I called her up and I said, I would like to know if you're available and if the divas could come in and help assist. So for the clinic, for the past couple of years, I've had Diva Wow. So it's Judy and I have the same group of phenomenal ladies that come in that just have tremendous shooting credentials. And we teach these ladies that are just learning how to shoot. We run a clinic, and they leave, either they have some experience or no experience, and they just leave just having a great time. And sometimes we see them come back year after year. Other times they progress to a point they're like, I can't thank you enough because I've got just a great sport that I'm enjoying with my family.
That's awesome.
One year I had a young lady, she came in and she came up to me and I sat there and I was like, she's a shooter. This is quite interesting. And I said, you can shoot. Why are you here? She said, I came here specifically for you. She said, I need your help with, and she was telling me what she was dealing with.
Yeah.
And I said, oh, you don't need help here. And I pulled her aside and was able to help her up here, which is where she needed that, just with what she was dealing with, in staying focused. And she went on, she came out and she shot the ladies open as a kind of a warm-up before the big event, and shot her strongest score she'd ever shot.
Wow.
And came back over and I said, now you take that and you carry it out now into the main event. And you know, every time she sees me, she just comes up and she's like, I can't thank you enough for how much you've helped me.
That's awesome.
And that's where my passion is.
Yeah.
So
all right, I don't want to cut you off.
Beautiful.
This is the Chesapeake Bay?
This is the beautiful Chesapeake Bay.
This is cool.
Yes. One of the world's largest estuaries. Mixture of fresh and salt water.
Wow.
Yes.
I did not know that.
And it's this is the the shipping channel. You'll see off on that side we've got some container ships.
Yeah.
And tremendous fishing, boating, any type of water sport.
I can't believe there's container ships.
There are, yes, we do have them over there.
Off the west coast.
We don't know what's in them, but we've got some.
Right.
We do have some supplies off to our left here potentially. So,
this is cool.
or it's been filled from one of our ports to go back out. You can see it way
Very
over.
cool. I love this. I love my gig.
This. How can you
I
not?
love my gig.
You get to travel to some beautiful. We both do to some beautiful places
Yes.
and meet amazing
And meet
people.
awesome people.
I hear that all the time. I'm so jealous of you. You have the most awesome job, and it's like this is my office outside. It doesn't get any better.
Well, so as I was driving to the range, I wasn't sure where we were meeting, and so I get closer. I'm like, this would be a great place to go out and shoot some plays.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's where it was. I'm like, all right. So she told me to meet her at the office at the shooting range. This
Absolutely.
is awesome.
Yes.
So let me ask you this: staying right with that, there are people. I'm going to say everybody loves to go shooting. To have to go shooting every day for work to help people with their shooting, it's like a dream come true, right?
Oh, it is, especially when you're passionate about it.
Yeah.
Like I said, I love it, and I live on the eastern or the western shore, and coming down to the eastern shore to learn how to shoot, I would drive this all the time, and with my ice packs down as I was driving back over, I could barely hold on to the steering wheel. My arms hurt so bad.
Right.
And but I loved it so much, and I've just taken that into that drive to really get more women, more youth, everybody really involved in the recreational aspect.
Yeah.
So that people can see the fun that can be had, and a lifelong sport.
The first time I only did sporting clays about a year ago. I've only done it a couple of times, and I went to the Lehigh Valley Club.
Yes.
In
VA.
Lehigh Valley, yes, in VA, and so we're with a couple buddies, and we're smoking cigars, and we're taking the carts, and having a great time.
Sure.
I'm like, how can we do this for a living? He's like, well, you got to get really good, shooting the clays. You got to practice. I'm like, no. I want to go shooting. I want to hang out. I want to smoke cigars. I want to have a fun time. How do we do that for a living? He's like, I don't know. And I'm like, that's what we need to figure out.
You're accomplishing that right now.
Boom.
With this, I mean, because this is awesome.
This is living the dream.
This is definitely living the dream.
That's what it's about.
This is where we have our big polar bear plunge.
I saw some signs for join the polar bear plunge.
Yes, and that's it's always in February, where you come out into the bay and the water is freezing cold.
I can imagine.
And but it's for an absolutely great cause to raise money for Special Olympics for the athletes there. So we're very, very supportive of those athletes. They're a tremendous group of young people that we're more than happy to help support.
That's cool. So one of the things that you started was the sporting clays at the University of Maryland, right?
Yes, it was a little kind of informal group of students that just got together at first, and they shot trap and skeet, and they enjoyed that. They knew of me, and they said, "Would you help out?" And I said, "I'd be more than happy to." And I said, "But I'm also going to introduce sporting clays," and started to do that. And from there, just led the team. Someone came up to me. It's kind of a funny but a sad story, but a great ending story. That they said, "Anne, you really don't want anything to do with them because they're not very good." And I was like, all the more reason.
There's
and
only room for growth.
Absolutely. And it was like, I am going to take this team and I'm going to make something of them. And I'm a graduate of Maryland, so I'm very happy to give back.
Yep.
And I, over the years, have had some of the most amazing young people that you could ever want to meet. Very, very smart, very dedicated, and within the first year led them to their first regional championship.
Wow,
and then
that's amazing.
From there they've gone on to win over 83 individual medals, several other placements within HOA, silver and bronze, and
HOA?
High overall.
High overall, okay.
Yes, so that's as high as you get. So that's been really amazing, and I have all levels of shooters, from those just coming out for the first time to shoot, to those who have been on like Maryland National 4-H, or they've come from other parts of the country, that they're here obviously at Maryland, and they're either just learning or or already have a lot of experience, but just fine-tuning them.
Yeah.
And I've even had the opportunity to work with a lot of young people from foreign countries where they are not allowed to have firearms. No.
Right.
But they'll be here at Maryland for their education, and they are thrilled to be able to come out to have that opportunity to learn and that experience. And
that's cool.
I'm more than happy to do that for them.
That is really cool. Very cool. Any pushback on the club from the university?
And what's quite interesting, when the team first started, they were very, very kind of, we have to keep this very quiet. Nobody can know we're doing this. And I was like,
it went from what, trap and skeet to?
From trap and skeet to trap and skeet. Well, we were originally when it was named, it was originally the Shotgun Sports Team. And I actually have some of the old vintage wear that has Shotgun Sportswear on it. But as we then started to really become more recognized within the university, and we wanted to do the true polo shirts with the Maryland logo and everything on it, they came back and they said, you can't use the word shotgun. And it really kind of shocked everybody. And the team wanted to kind of go like, we want to stand up for this and do the following. I said, well, you're going to learn to pick and choose battles, and that's a battle you're not going to win.
Right.
So we're going to pick and choose our battles very wisely. This is one that my advice is we changed the name. So we made it the University of Maryland Clay Target Team, which encompasses all the disciplines, because they do shoot all the American and international disciplines.
Nice.
And from there, doing that actually paid off for the team, because when we finally got to a point we wanted to have professional shooting vests made, there was a very specific company that I wanted to make those vests in Italy, which was Castellani, and asked the Tom Lotus with Ultimate Shooting Supplies is the importer here in this country, and he was really wonderful to work with, and we were a long time before I could finally get Maryland to approve. And when they said, when the name change happened, they said, because you followed and you didn't really cause problems with, they took it to the athletic department, and our shooting vests are probably some of the finest shooting vests you will see out there. They're just really sharp looking. This team looks really sharp in them, and they're in the Maryland colors with the Maryland lettering on the back. And
we gotta make a U-turn here. All right.
Maryland lettering on the back, and with the Maryland banner flag and Testudo, which is our mascot. terrapin turtle.
Okay.
Yes. Its name is Testudo, and he's on the front. And they have their names on the front. Their international names done on the back, which is last name and first initial.
Cool.
And it is amazing. So this will be the first year. They have their Collegiate Nationals coming up in San Antonio the end of March, and this will be the first year the entire team will be debuting their vest.
Wow.
Which would be really nice.
That is cool.
2 years ago we had them, but COVID hit, and a week before Nationals the world shut down.
Yeah.
So we did not get to go, and
right, how do we get out of here?
So this part I do not know, but road work ahead, of course.
Road of shocking. Oh, let's see. Should we go to the no U-turn sign? Oh, there is a U-turn sign, but it's not here. All right, let's cut this guy off. This is where coming from Massachusetts comes in handy. I'm just gonna cut some people off here, Pally. Not get into an accident and hit someone else. There we go.
Then you can. There we go.
Another thing I love about my gig is, unlike other interview shows, your life is in my hands right now. Don't tell my insurance
It is.
guy.
No. I'm in good hands.
Right.
He's a great driver.
I'm a highly trained professional. All of my cars, the last car I had, I sold for a whopping $250 because it had 309,000 miles on it. And I think the car before that had 257,000. And the other one before that had, I think, well over 200,000 miles on it. So I drive a lot.
There you go.
There we go. All right, so coaching people.
Yes.
So you've got the new vests. If I'm hoping that I can get some pictures of the new vests and put them in here. So that's something you'll have to.
Oh, I'll forward to you. Absolutely.
Perfect. When you're coaching people, how do you how do you tell them what to do, what's right? Like, obviously, you weren't following, and you gotta do your follow through. How do you coach people?
So that part's it's really interesting, because I'm extremely fortunate that I've had some absolutely amazing teachers and coaches myself.
Right.
I'm very fortunate. They're really the best in the world, and in all my opportunities. So I was taught very early on that you kind of have this imaginary bag that sits on the side of you here, and you just get these little pieces and golden nuggets that you put in that bag, and you just kind of store them in there, and over time you will learn when you pull those pieces out. But my training has come from just really getting out there and learning it myself, and then becoming certified as a National Sporting Clays Association instructor. And from there I went on with the NRA had done a course that they had invited me to come in and take, and I took that. It was a coaching course.
Yeah. And
from there, USA Shooting knew of me and my coaching, and they picked 20 people from around the country to come in for a level 3 coach course. And I was like, absolutely, I'll come in for this course, because I'm all about learning and knowledge, because the more I can learn and know and understand, the better I can then relay that to someone else and just share that knowledge, because I'm all about sharing that knowledge and sharing it correctly. So I'm out in Colorado Springs, and funny story, years ago I was out there, my husband was working out there, and we went on a weekend to just kind of tour the Olympic Training Center, and I saw it from the tourist view, never in my wildest dreams ever imagining I would be on the inside of the, where the Olympians actually train and where they are doing what I do. And so I've been there, multiple times since, and do an awful lot of work with them. But I'm in this coaching course for a level 3, and I'm in this room, and I'm like, there has been an absolutely horrible mistake, because I do not belong in this room, because I'm looking around the room and I'm seeing this legend, that legend, all these people, and I'm just like, oh my heavens. And it's just like, there's just, I just don't belong in here. And there was a break, and I stood up, and I quietly start to, just move towards the door, and this individual comes over, and I was like, wow, and they were like, I can't believe I'm in a room with you, Anne. And they had the same exact feeling I had.
Right.
So it was probably 20 of the finest, most humble coaches you could have out there, that they were smart enough to pull together, that it was the most intense training. This was not just, oh, you sit down and we spew out a bunch of information and there you go, we're going to say you're the following. You had to prove yourself, not only in what you knew knowledge-wise, but being able to shoot, all of it.
Yeah. So how much time did you spend practicing? Like, do you practice dry firing and it's doing the swing through and everything?
Well, a lot of it's when ammunition was available.
Right.
And not at the cost it is now.
Right.
There was an awful lot of live range time, which is what you would do, and then you learn how to visualize, how to practice at home. And
how much range time? Like I heard I want to say I saw a video of oh my God, who's the old exhibition shooter that passed away with the big mustache? Tom Knapp. I saw a video of Tom Knapp one time in an interview, and he's like, yeah, I used to shoot 150,000 rounds a year, and then when I became a professional, it went down to 100,000.
So it took him that much to get to that point to be able to.
Right.
Tremendous shooter.
Like, are you selling drugs on the side? Like, how do you afford all this? You
literally give up every single thing in your life.
Yeah.
For me, I had to. I mean, there are obviously some people that's no object for them.
Sure.
But I got to a point where, yes, I used to enjoy getting my manicures. I used to enjoy certain things like that.
That's
that's just certain things that you would enjoy, and you started to equate everything to, well, that's a box of ammunition.
A box of ammo, right.
No, I can really learn to eat peanut butter and learn to like it a lot. And and you eat a lot of peanut butter. You do because you do that when you literally give up your life.
Yeah.
To shoot at that level.
So I am a peanut butter junkie.
Mm-hmm.
I have switched from peanut butter to the Skippy honey peanut butter.
Oh, okay.
I will never go back to regular peanut butter. The honey peanut butter
I've not tried
sweeter.
The honey.
Oh, girl.
I love the whipped peanut butter, but now you can't find it because you can't find much of anything on shelves anymore. So you kind of take what you can get.
Yeah, I love the honey peanut butter, Skippy honey peanut butter.
Mm-hmm.
So my next question: chunky or smooth?
Smooth. Yeah, it's creamy.
All right.
There we go. Yep.
Yeah. I had this conversation with somebody recently, and they're like, chunky peanut butter. Like, why would you want unfinished peanut butter? Why would you want raw peanut butter?
That's right.
Like, I hear you. It's hard to spread on the bread. You know what I mean?
That's right.
I think that's my issue. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of energy,
a lot of dedication.
A lot of dedication.
Yes. It's really quite funny because years ago, my mom and I used to always do a mother-daughter trip to Hawaii, mm-hmm. and it was just a really great time. And I remember one year we were there; it was the Ironman taking place on Kona,
yeah.
And we're there, and I am watching these athletes come in, and they would travel with their own microwaves. They could not eat food out any place. They had their own diet of what they would eat, and I was like, oh my heavens, look at all these crazy people.
Right.
And I actually turned in for a while one of those crazy people. I mean, it was just, I mean, you only could, I mean, it was, and I enjoyed that time. It was really, really great.
Yeah.
And just a really good time. So I could appreciate why they did what they did, because I became one of those people.
Yeah.
That you just become so focused and so dedicated that you do what you have to do.
Right, and I do think it's you're investing in yourself, and you're
Absolutely.
investing in your passion, and then you can pass this on to other people.
You can, and that's there's the awful lot of key with, especially with shooting, is hydration. very first thing to go are the eyes when you're not hydrated, and you need your eyes to see, to get that information.
Gotcha.
That what it is seeing, that the brain is then going to process to then let everything else know when to do what it needs to do.
All right. This is a selfish question. I am a cross-dominant freak of nature.
Okay.
But when I shoot long guns, I still shoot right-handed. Like my left eye is my dominant eye. It feels weird to shoot left-handed. So would you? I don't want to make my right eye my dominant eye, because I don't think I have that kind of dedication.
Okay.
But when I've gone out to go shotgunning, I still shoot right-handed. I just close my left eye.
And you can do that.
Is that acceptable to do?
You can. It's better to keep both eyes open.
Right.
Because then you're losing that left periphery.
Yep.
To see those targets. You're going to struggle more with a target coming from the left.
Sure.
Because you're not going to see it till it's boom right here in front.
So what I try to do is I set the gun up, put it on my shoulder and everything, and I close my non-dominant eye, and I close my dominant eye, I look with my non-dominant, and I try to make sure I get everything, and then I give it a couple of tests and open both eyes, and try to make sure, I really have to mentally say, okay, you're looking with your right eye, don't look with your left eye, and try to keep both eyes open.
You got a lot going on there.
I got a lot, believe me, I got a lot going on.
You got a lot going on.
Yeah.
So little trick to do is to put a little piece of tape, and there's a very specific way to tape.
Okay.
And we kind of need to do that sometime to kind of show how you do that tape on the glasses, to just at an angle so that you'll see in the periphery, you'll still get that, you'll be able to see that if that target happens to come from that direction. But then just for that split second, it won't let that dominant eye take over as it crosses right here.
Oh my gosh.
So there's a lot of tricks out there.
There are a lot of tricks.
Yes.
This is pathetic. I applied for a job at a range. It's a country club that has shotgun, and I don't have a lot of shotgun experience. And I asked them, I ended up having an interview with these people, and it's like some really like $100,000 country club, and in the wintertime they do I think they do ski. So they're like, how would you coach people? Because
I'm sure I probably taught there, so I teach at a lot of those clubs. So it's a pleasure to teach at those clubs.
Yeah.
It's a great experience.
I know, like a friend of mine encouraged me, like, dude, you should go in. So I went in. I'm like, I did the interview. I never heard back. They're like, how would you handle somebody that's been shooting longer than you have? I'm like, I don't know. And then that was it. I knew I'd never hear back from them. So.
But it was a good experience.
Right.
It was a good experience.
It made me realize, coaching shotgun might not be for me.
Well, but that leads to, because we were talking before we were doing this ride, that a lot of my presentations when I get to, because I do huge presentations all over the country, and a lot of it is, my favorite opening quote is from Coach Wooden. Famous basketball coach.
Yeah.
And John Wooden, and it is, when you're through learning, you're through. So the people out there that kind of claim they know it all, I tell everybody, you don't walk from them, you run from them. Because when somebody claims to know it all, they truly don't.
Right.
And kind of like a snake oil salesman, they're selling you a bill of goods that's not really worth anything.
Right.
And as I always tell everybody, I certainly do not claim to know everything. I'm a big giant sponge that learns every single day I go out there. And but what I do not know, what I can guarantee you, I've got someone on speed dial that will know.
That's cool.
And we all work together to share our information to really, bring people into the shooting sports, to really see the recreational aspect that's so important, that people understand that.
Yeah.
Because that's like with my team. When I started it, my goal from day one has never changed, and it's been to have lifelong shooters. That they'll have a sport that they will have for life. And that's, anything we've won along the way would just be icing on the cake. And our very first year at saw these huge trophies, and they were, like, oh, we're going to be bringing one of those home. And I knew they were a young team. Right. I knew that was not going to happen. And but you can't tell them that.
Yeah.
No. And one of the fellows on the team, his shotgun had a problem with it, and I said, "Oh, come with me." He was shooting a Beretta. I said, "Beretta's actually down here at this," and we walked into the Beretta building, and they fixed his gun, and the manager at the time was in there, and he was like, "Anne, what are you doing here? Worlds aren't for another 3 weeks." And I sat there, I said, "Oh, I'm down here with the University of Maryland team." And he said, "I didn't know they had a team." And I sat there and I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Well, you have to have them come by, we'll give them some hats." And I said, "That would be awesome."
Nice.
And as I'm walking out the door, he said, "Who's coaching that team?" And I had a jacket on. And I took my jacket off and I pointed to my shoulder. The team had done up a shirt that had Coach Mauro written on it.
Oh my gosh.
And I took down, I pointed, and I went like that. And he sat there, and they knew me very well because all my original shotguns that I still have, every one of them to this day, were all Berettas, and love Beretta. And he sat there and he said, "You're coaching the team?" He said, "We will sponsor them immediately," because he knew me and knew my background and knew what I would do with them.
Oh my gosh.
And which was tremendous. So that's been really amazing for them. So I could not tell them during the tournament because I wanted them to really stay focused, because they really need to learn about the competition aspect.
Sure.
And after competition was all done, I pulled them aside and I said, "I have some really great news for you." And I said, "You're being sponsored now by Beretta." And you could just see they were just like, what is she saying? And they were dumbfounded. They were speechless. It was priceless. And I actually wish I had it on video. And I said, "You do understand what I'm saying to you, right? Like, Beretta is like going to sponsor this team."
That's nice.
And they sat there, and what was priceless to see was a team of these, big strapping guys and, young girls all start to just well up, because they realized at that point, yes, that meant more than, because you've won something that probably no other team out there actually has.
Right.
So that meant more, and that's the start of much greater things to come for the team.
Cool. That is unbelievable.
And
yeah, the trophy's like, you're gonna have to earn the trophy next year.
That's it.
Next year or the next year.
That's right.
But once you get the sponsorship, you are good.
That's right. And they've learned really a lot of great things with that, because as a team, there'll be times you're shooting great, and there's times when you start out, you have a younger team, you go through those rotations, you build them up, and you're at all different levels throughout the year. And they learn about being sponsored. They have to every minute bring their A game. And not really in the shooting, where yes, that's important, but you just have to how you conduct yourself, because all eyes are on you all the time.
Yeah.
And they're learning much greater life skills than just the shooting component, which is very, very important. And they're very fortunate. We have SGS glasses, shooting glasses specialist. The Robertson family is just as tremendous to the team as can be. And we're very, very fortunate with all of our sponsors that have stepped up. And a lot of the teams out there now are starting to see, because for the longest time it was the collegiate shooting world, a lot of people really didn't believe in it. They didn't want to invest in it, because it was like, well, when they're little, we've got them when they're little, this is great. Then they go on to college, we don't see them. Then they go off, they start families, they do all the following, their careers, we don't see them. And then we get them back kind of middle age.
Right.
And it's like, no, you need to make the investment, because they will stick with it if we build up the college program. And I've been very, very fortunate to be a major part of that. And just before we met, I was on the phone call with ACUI, which is the Association of College Unions International, which for over 50 years has done the clay championships and the sporting clays and the clay target disciplines, all the American and international.
Yeah.
And this year we have 105 colleges and universities levels of shooters that come out there to shoot, which is tremendous.
Yeah.
You're going to get in this lane here.
All right. Oops.
Oop, not yet.
How about we wait?
Yep.
Yeah. As we see that guy's looking down at his cell phone.
That's right.
Nice. We're getting on 50 East.
Yes.
Okay. One of the things that I like to say is the people that want to carry concealed aren't interested in hunting. The people that are hunting aren't interested in carrying concealed, and nobody knows what's going on with the shotgunners. Don't take it the wrong way. But to me, it's one of these things, like I was just thinking about this, the shotgun guys all have the little thing on their shoe that they rest the barrel on.
Unless you're youth shooting, you're not allowed to put your barrel on the shoe.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Because of safety, they don't want them to...
Get in that habit.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
The shotgunners are on the bottom of the list.
They are.
You know, not on the bottom of the list, but
I know
on the
what you
bottom
mean
list of
what they're really
the
anti-gun people.
The anti-gun folks,
yes.
right. So do you run into any, besides having to change the name from the Shotgun Club to the Sporting Clays, or the
Clay
Targets, any sort of pushback at the school about?
No, we have tremendous support from the school.
Like you don't practice at the school. You gotta.
No, we have an amazing range, about 7 miles from campus.
Okay.
And we're one of probably the only few schools in the country that has every discipline, all the international and American disciplines. That's all awesome. In one spot. And the school is tremendous with their support in helping to fund their target training, and cool. We get to shoot at a lot of amazing ranges, which are so supportive. In Maryland, we have the Pintail Point, we have Schrader's Outdoors, we have Hopkins Game Farm, we have Sutherville, which is a trap and skeet, and we shoot up at M&M in New Jersey, Sporting Clays. They're very supportive there. The whole Matarese family is very supportive of our team, and it's an amazing to be able to see the support that's out there for the young people. And as I tell them, it's I said when they do fundraisers, I said you're no longer at that cute age where you can when they're real little they can just stand there and be cute, and people go, oh, isn't that wonderful? Right, and they come up and they'll throw money in a bucket, or
right, buy
the cookies or the cupcakes or whatever it is they're selling. It's like you guys have to understand you're no longer at that cute stage, right. So you have to work it a little harder here. So
that's awesome.
So but they learn what goes on about doing a actually running a tournament. We do a big Terrapin Classic every year. It's a big fundraising tournament, and it's a lot of working parts behind the scenes that has to take place for that to be a success.
Yeah.
And a lot on my end, like a giant rain cloud can just like follow me for months before. Just don't rain on the day of the tournament, or a hurricane, because it's always that season.
Right.
Come through here, but yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
All right, listen, we are almost back to where we need to be. How can people? Do you have a book on? Do you have a book on coaching?
It's no, I do not. I actually have, like I said, I present all over, and I've done a lot of really great talks that there are PowerPoints and everything that I've done, and I've had a lot of people come up because they've wanted, my slide deck.
Yeah.
Yes, that's where I'm going to, not here, but right there, Carmichael. Yes.
Gotcha.
That they've wanted, and what I've learned, and I've been very smart, that I give that out, they're going to stand there, because a lot of people like to ride on your coattails. I've created, a lot of what's out there.
Yeah.
When it comes to things for, women, and different coaching aspects, and the design and fit of a shotgun, and I've learned not to let people ride on my coattails. So if I sit there
nice.
and give that out, I've had people want to then copy that and claim it as theirs, and it's like, no, we're not going to do that. So you learn as you go, and I'm more than happy to share. you know, that information. But what I have in hard copy has not been printed yet. So maybe at some point we've got a group of coaches that everybody comes up and, you know, they want the guide to,
right,
you know, collegiate coaching, and there actually is. There are papers that from somebody extremely important and very, very valuable within the international shooting world, and they're no longer in the realm of teaching anymore there.
Mm-hmm.
But at an event they came over in a big coaching conference, and they quietly handed me those papers, and they said, when the timing's right,
wow,
you're meant to be the next person to carry the following on. So I've held those very close to the vest.
Yeah.
And when the timing is right, it'll be put in the context it needs to be released out there.
Very cool.
So to help the others move forward.
That's awesome.
Which is great. So
it's not going to be like 20 years after this person passes.
Oh, no. No, it'll be sooner rather than later, when the timing is right.
Gotcha.
And you kind of can see when it's coming here now.
Mm-hmm.
And because there's a couple of other people involved that I've personally handpicked that are tremendous within the coaching world, that, you know, we've all put our insights together to add to this. It's kind of like the holy grail of shooting. There's something very, very special, and you know, people come up to these people and they're like, can you know, where is this written, how you do all the following? And it's like, right, there is no, as a college coach, there's nothing really written in black and white yet. And mm-hmm, you know, a lot of us, we go in there and we're kind of, you know, you're flying by the seat of your pants as you're going. It's like we have it all up here, but we're not going by a book because there's no book written out there. And it's on its way.
Very cool.
Yes.
I'd love to check it out when it comes out.
I'll make sure you'll be one of the first.
Oh.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, listen, we're back at Pintail Point. How can people find you and all of the stuff that you're doing? Like if somebody wanted to reach out and hire you to do some coaching?
So here's the really funny part. I am probably one of the absolute most mystery people to find because I am not on Facebook. I am not on. Yes, I know. And here's a really funny part.
I have a unicorn here.
You do. You actually do. And the reason I'm not, because a lot of times when you're in, obviously, the realm of shooting and working with firearms and traveling with a lot of, you know, all of that, yeah, you don't really advertise when and where you're at until after the fact.
Right.
Just because. And so you're kind of like, you fly under the radar for a bit. And I had a really famous coach one time. Funny story, 4 of us are in a car riding, and the person said, you know, Anne, I want to really, you know, stay in touch with you on Facebook and do all the following. And the other person that was with me sat there and said, she's not on Facebook. And they're like, what? And they said, how come you're not on Facebook? And they said, no, they said, you have to understand, she probably has one of the most interesting lives you'd ever want to hear and know about, and she doesn't have to be like the rest of us and be out there and tell everybody. And like they say, a lot of people like make stuff up on Facebook just to make themselves sound really good,
right? And
different things. They said she doesn't have to do that. She's actually living that life.
Oh my God!
So
that is too cool.
But certainly through the University of Maryland team, they can find the people that are in the know. They know how to reach me.
They know how to find you.
They know how to find me.
We have to talk to people.
There are ways.
We have to talk to people who know people.
That's right.
Who can get in touch with you.
That's right. So that's actually funny. My husband, when we met in high school, I was at the all-girls private school. He was the all-boys private school, and we met at a party. He was supposed to meet someone else. And
that dirty dog.
Yes.
Look at you stealing some other woman's man.
I did. And when I walked in, he said, I want to meet her. And the rest is history. And that part's really,
that's incredible.
That's another funny story for another time. Because Maryland was not my first choice of schools. Okay. So it was the United States Naval Academy.
Wow.
Yes.
Holy
and
moly.
I sat before the boards and everything. And astronaut. The woman that drove from Texas to Florida in the love triangle situation.
Right, with the diaper.
With the diaper. She beat me out for the spot for Maryland.
Oh my God.
Yes. Yes. And ever since then, all I ever hear is, you know, wow, we really made a mistake. It's like, yeah, you did. So,
wow.
But it's what it is. So I have no regrets.
The 6 degrees of Charlie Cook have gotten even smaller.
There's a lot of fun.
Oh my God. That is too cool.
A lot of fun. Yes.
That is too cool.
But we have something funny we talked about that I said I would fill you in on that
yes.
you wanted to know. So this part's really cool.
All right,
a fan of someone that we have.
Just enough time on the batteries.
Oh, awesome. Okay.
Let's do it. So, yes, I when I had the idea for my show, I wanted to interview Ted Nugent, and I love Uncle Ted. And I've only seen him like 4 or 5 times in concert. And you said you have an Uncle Ted story.
I do have an Uncle Ted story.
Let's hear it. I love it.
I was doing a big presentation at the NRA Women's Ladies Luncheon at their national conference convention that they have yearly, and they only pick a handful of people to stand up on stage and present firearms. And I was up there presenting about the Blaser firearms I had designed, and I go out ahead of time and I do all this big long practicing, so when I stand up I'm there, and I'm on stage before 1,200 women, and I blow it out of the ballpark. Nice. With my presentation, because most people are up there and they're reading notes, you know, of what they're, and I was spot on.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
I hear this holler from the back of the room when I finish, and it is, Anne, I love your style. And I'm like, okay,
who is this lunatic?
It's a guy's voice, so I'm
right.
like, okay, who's this guy? And I just sat there, and as I'm coming off stage, they come running up towards the stage, and I'm like, oh my God, that's Ted Nugent. And I sat there, and I was like, he's like, you are amazing, Anne. And I was like, you're Ted Nugent. I mean, it was just like, wow. So it was the very first selfie I'd ever had. My arms weren't long enough. He had to hold the camera out, because I'm sitting, you know, I go to hold it, all we get are our noses. Right. And he sat there and, you know, held it out in my very first selfie, and he gave me one of his.
And you can't even put it on Facebook to show people.
No, I've got some tremendous. At some point, I'm probably going to release that, because it would, if people could see the people I've had the opportunity to really be around and to be able to teach, and the experiences in some of the places I've been, it's really amazing.
That is awesome.
Really, really amazing.
That is awesome.
Very, very fortunate.
All right, listen, we got to wrap it up because we're like the batteries are on the verge of dying.
We don't want that to happen.
We don't.
We've had a blast.
Oh my God.
We've had such a good time.
This is I'm telling you, I love my gig, and I just want to increase my circle of friends. Like that's what
I think we've done that today.
I think so.
And I think maybe now's the timing to get that out there. That's going to make that even bigger.
Girl, I am with you.
Make it even a larger group there.
All right, listen.
Good friends.
Yes. I'm going to give you a riding shotgun patch and stickers. These are for
Thank you so much.
So I make videos playing the trumpet and shooting a gun at the same time.
I love that.
We
had fun talking earlier about music. We're both great lovers of music. So there's a lot with music that takes place in shooting a shotgun. A lot of rhythm. So we'll talk about that another time.
One of Uncle Ted's lines is, he's like, God, this is a video from the 80s. He's like, a shotgun's a lot like a guitar. Wood and steel, and I can make my living doing it.
That's right. That's like, right. Dude, I love that.
He's so badass. Anyway, listen, we got to go. Thank you guys for watching this episode of Riding Shotgun with Charlie. Make sure you join the Second Amendment Foundation at saf.org. You can donate to their sister group, which is the Citizens' Right to Keep and Bear Arms, CCRBKA. I never remember if it's a .com or a .org. I don't know. But I know saf.org is where you can help the Second Amendment Foundation. You can find all of your favorite pro-freedom podcasts in one place at sdrn.us. That's for the Self-Defense Radio Network. If you haven't subscribed to Riding Shotgun with Charlie, you need to make sure you do that. And we will see you guys next time as we take the stagecoach across America. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
This is great.
It's been wonderful.